Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 1:07 p.m. And good afternoon. Welcome to the June 27th regular board meeting of the Sunshine Coast Regional District. I'd like to acknowledge that the Sunshine Coast Regional District is within the territory of the Sechelt and the Squamish First Nations. Our first order of business is adoption of the agenda. Is any changes? No? Can I have a motion? Yes. See a motion, see it seconded. All in favor? That passes. We have an agenda. Next we're on to item number 2, which is the regular board meeting minutes of June 13th, 2024. It's Annex A, pages 3 to 10. And I'm going to click on it so I can see it. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, can I have a motion to? Yes, Director Toss, seconded by Director. It's, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Okay, that passes. We're now on to business arising from minutes and unfinished business. Is there any business arising or unfinished business? Seeing none, we'll move on. There's no presentations and delegations. We're now on to item number 3, which is Committee of the Whole meeting recommendations numbers 1 to 9. Of June 13th, 2024, that's Annex B, pages 11 to 13. Directors, would you like to pull any for separate discussions? Don't see, oh, yes.
I don't actually want to pull recommendation 8 on page 13, but I wanted to flag to staff's attention that when I went back to review the recommendations, I remember at that meeting that staff noted that there is a process underway to review our fire service and burning bylaws, but because of the way we keep the minutes, it's not reflected in the minutes. Nor was I believe we had a discussion of writing a letter back to the community association. So I don't know if there's a better way that we can capture some of this extra information from meetings without having to go back to the actual YouTube and listen to it over again. So I'm making that observation. I don't have a solution right off, but I'd like to flag it as something. I think that's how we sometimes miss things. And then we end up coming back to a meeting saying, what are we doing? We've forgotten. What are we doing? So, thanks.
Yeah, we'll probably have that conversation tomorrow. I don't think staff's any suggestions off the top of their head, so we'll go from there. Okay, motion then to, yes, adopt the block. Okay, I see a motion, I see a seconder. I'll call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? No? Okay. So we'll move on to item number 4, which is Electoral Area Service Committee meeting recommendations 1 to 6 of June 20th, 2024. It's Annex C, pages 14 to 16. Anyone like to pull any for discussion? Don't see anybody. Can I have a motion then to accept, pass as a block? Yes, I see his motion made, see a seconder. All in favor? Any opposed? No. Okay, that's passes. So we're on to item number 5, which is Annex D. Let me just figure out which one it is. It's a 2024 Local Government Development Approvals Program Grant Approval, Development Approval Process Enhancement Project. Annex D, pages 17 to 19 is, yes, GM, going to introduce that for us. GM Hall.
Thank you, Chair. Staff are pleased to report that we were successful with this grant that the board supported application for. So this report gets us into the position of accepting the grant and moving forward with grant-funded work aligned with the implementation of the development approvals process.
Let's see who we got. Yes, Director Bax.
I would like to move the recommendations as they appear on page 17, accepting
Okay,
grants.
thank you. Do we have a seconder? Yes. Director White, thank you. Director McMahon, you're,
Yes, money, good. Another peripheral issue, and maybe it would be directed to the workshop tomorrow, but we've had a continuing challenge with the electoral area directors getting information about planning files going on in our area. And so there's been a number of times that we have been surprised by a major project taking place, and we've, discussed it several times, but we don't seem to have come up with a solution yet. So is there hope on the horizon?
a little clarification. The question is on any particular normal approval processes? Like, is it a development permit or just a? Overall?
Planning files.
Just any old
Many of
planning
them,
files? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Jim?
Thank you, through the chair. Yes, staff are working on a board-directed project related to the implementation of DAPR recommendations that includes updates to our software system that would allow not only director but public information on active applications to be easily accessed. That's well underway now. Thank you.
ETA?
Yes, Director McMahon?
Do we have an expected time that this may materialize?
I thank you, staff. Understand the priority of the and the interest in this. I would have to engage with the project team to understand what the current ETA is. Software acquisition and implementation has to fit into our corporate work plan that includes a number of software items. Thanks.
I will ask the question then. When might we know what a timeline for that might look like?
Thank you, Chair, for the question. Definitely, we will include information about this in the second quarter report and in our regular updates to the budget project status report. But I hear the interest. I can provide a follow-up offline. Thanks.
Good, thank you. Director McMahon?
Yes, perhaps we could discuss an interim solution until the software is available. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have a motion and a second. So that's correct, right? Yes. So then I see no more hands up, so I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. Interesting question. We're now on to item number 6, which is Annex E. There's one placement of notice on title on this one. And I believe Mr. Kennett, you'd introduce this for us? Oh, there's 2? I got 2 of them, do I? Yes. I stand corrected, there's 2.
Thank you, Chair. Today we have the report that is being made for recommendation for the placement and notice on title for 2 separate properties where there is contravention of building compliance issues. Staff are happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, I've got my head around this now. Thank you. Directors, are there any questions before we continue? I believe we have a,
You got to give them the opportunity.
yes. Is there anyone that would like to speak on either one of these? If you could put your hand up if you'd like to talk. Directors, do you have any questions? Okay. I don't, oh, yes. Director Gavious, please.
Thank you, Chair. Not a question. I would like to put forward the motion as it appears on page 20. I think it's pretty straightforward and, notice on title is there for a reason. I think it makes sense here. So there you go.
Okay, I see a second. Is there any further discussions? Okay, I'll call the question then. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Thank you. Okay. We did both. We did both. They're both 2 and 3 on page 20. Yes. That's why I had a little bit of time to get my head around it here. Okay. We're now on to item number 7, which is 2437010 Wood Creek Park Wastewater Treatment Plant Recirculating Filter Contract Award. It's Annex F. And, Mr. Soji, Manager Capital Projects. Could you introduce this for us, please?
Yes, thank you, through the chair. This report is to recommend award a contract to Wrinkle Systems for the purchase of the filter system for the Wood Creek wastewater treatment plant. That is just going through a design upgrade right now. This is a pre-purchase ahead of the construction tender. And the system is a proprietary system. It was recommended by the pre-design consultant, MSR, that did the preliminary work, and also recommended upon review by the current engineer consultant, which is Integrated Sustainability. And we're fortunate we're able to get purchased directly from the supplier. Got a very good competitive price. And in order to sole source, we had to go through a notice of intent process. And we went through that process through purchasing, through BC bid, and did not receive any objections. So the recommendation is in front of you to, we're recommending award of the contract to pre-purchase this equipment.
Thank you. So it's basically it's awarding of a contract that's within the existing grant that we've got and was anticipated.
And it's on budget.
Yes, and on budget. Okay, Director Bax, please.
I have a little offbeat question for our Chief Financial Officer. Do we keep a bank account with American funds in it for purchases like this? Does the regional district have any American funds? Because I know I do.
More than a little operational question, however. CFO, would you care to answer that one for us?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We don't, but I think we're just trying to explore if there is a business need to do so for these sums. We have systems in place to do so for sundry type items, things that are under $20,000. We have done it under 50, but there is a logistical issue to issue some of the payments in U.S. funds. So we're just looking, if this continues to be a trend and something that saves taxpayer dollars, we'll most certainly look into that. So we'll navigate this one as best we can.
Thank you for your answer. I heard that Seashell does have such an account.
It's not out of my bank account, so I'm happy. Director McMahon, please.
Yeah, for instance, for a fire truck. So the public information meeting, the date was not available when the report was written, but I understand it's Wednesday, July the 3rd from 3 to 6 p.m. in Wood Creek Park. Just asking staff, were notices mailed out to all the people on the system?
Manager?
Thank you through the chair. They were hand delivered to door to door
Oh, good service.
last week.
Yeah,
Great.
thank you.
And I'll be there because there's nothing more fun than a sewage plant open house. So I would like to move the recommendations on page 24.
Thank you. Do we have did I see a seconder? Yes, we have a seconder. Any further discussions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. Got to turn the page now. I keep trying to write with my little pen and it's closing my file. We're on to item number 8, which is an award report for a 5-year Xerox Managed Print Services contract, Annex G, pages 27 to 28. And we have our Manager of Information Services, Mr. Nelson. If you could introduce that for us, please.
Thank you, Chair. The SRD's current 5-year managed print services contract is expiring in July, and staff recommend execution of a 5-year contract for managed print services with Xerox Canada be authorized for a total value of up to $228,000. Staff accessed the Canoe procurement program to obtain a competitively bid proposal and pricing from Xerox Canada. This is a like-for-like managed print services replacement of 18 units with similar capacity and features, including secure access card release that reduces paper use.
And a little key lock system to make sure who's using it. Thank you. Yes, Director Bax, please.
I would like to move the recommendations as they appear on page 27.
Thank you. I see a seconder. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? That passes. Thank you very much. Okay, we're into our communications now, and it's we have a letter from Annie Wise, who's the Executive Director of Sunshine Coast Tourism. It's Annex H, page 29 to 30, and she's requesting a letter confirming Sunshine Coast Tourism as lead provider of visitor services in Pender Harbor. I'm quite aware of the issue. I'd be happy to make that motion. I see a seconder. Any discussion? No? I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. Sorry.
I'm not clear. I got the gist of the motion, but I don't think it was spelled out. Could you repeat it?
Oh, it's just what it says here. That we provide a letter confirming Sunshine Coast Tourism as the lead provider of visitor services in Pender Harbor. They're going to take over funding of the visitor information services. We, in fact, Area A provides a certain amount of subsidies to it, and we used to provide it to the Chamber of Commerce. And the Chamber of Commerce has asked the Sunshine Coast Tourism to take that over. So this would close the loop and finish the administrative side of that project. Okay. We have no motions. And we have a bylaw. It's Annex I. That's not an L, that's an... Okay. Yes. I believe our corporate officer is going to introduce this, if I've got it right. Oh, Manager Sol's going to introduce this for us. Yes, please.
Through the chair, and thank you for the opportunity. What we have before you today is a minor bylaw amendment to our landfill bylaw number 405 to hopefully streamline our green waste collection service, namely some of the issues we've been experiencing at the South Coast Green Waste Depot with what is commercial, what is allowed, and some disputes that have arisen. So we're hoping that the changes as proposed to the bylaw will make things a little bit easier, both for our contractor and our staff to implement, as well as for the public and businesses to be able to understand. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Director White? No questions? Director McMahon?
All right, that was interesting. I'm more than happy to see this going forward, because I remember having the original discussion back in whenever it was, and so I thought the whole issue had been put to bed. So I'm happy to move the recommendations on page 31, and I'm going to ask again, because I've been asking for a while, when we might audit the green waste facility to find out where the material is coming from, because if we don't measure it, we can't manage it. Thanks.
I was just going to say I need a seconder first, and we have a seconder. So now we can enter discussions. Director McMahon, I think she has her question out there.
Through the chair, and thank you for the question. Yeah, as before, when this has come up, our biggest issue is often staff to do this sort of work. I know last year we had multiple hirings. Most of those staff ended up leaving before the end of the summer season. We've experienced similar this summer as well. It's quite hard to retain casual staff and convince people that working at a garbage facility is great fun work. We do currently have a posting out for a operations coordinator that was approved as part of the 2024 budget process. That position should help significantly in trying to facilitate and coordinate and maybe even do some of this work themselves once we are able to find someone for that role. I will say anecdotally, though, with any unmanned site in BC, I'm not aware of one that isn't abused to a large extent. And so I'm expecting that if and when we do audit the facility, we will probably figure out that our suspicions about commercial overuse are accurate and true. And so it sort of leads to a bigger question of how to address that, which I think is something that we're trying to work on and figure out in the back of our minds, and how that fits into the whole long-term disposal issue that we're struggling with as well.
Thank you. Follow up, please.
Yes, but the things that I was interested in auditing was which residents of which area, like who's using this facility the most, whether it is significantly reducing the temptation of people to do backyard bonfires, and the composition of the loads in terms of how much invasive species, for instance, we are receiving. Because it's all part of the picture of how to manage the green waste, and it ties into our smoke control bylaws. Thank you.
Okay. Would you like to answer that then, please?
Yeah, through the chair, and thank you for the question. Yeah, so certainly like what I'm hearing is perhaps something that could potentially be addressed through a larger study. That might be something like a budget proposal that could come forward for 2025, where we would have something along the lines of a waste audit, much like the SCRD did in 2021 for the landfill. We could look at doing something similar for green waste in particular, if that's of interest.
Okay. I think it's a little off this particular topic, actually. Director White?
I'm really supportive of this bylaw.
I think we all are, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to focus on that and really, like, let's get this done, because it's, I literally get correspondence every day from people who are struggling with this, and I think it's probably, I haven't spoken to anybody who works there right now, but it's probably hardest on that, whoever that is, you know, who rotating through that position, having to make these really, really difficult calls on what's commercial and what's not, and this really clarifies it. The 4 cubic meters is a really good, it's a good measure. I did a quick check on what that actually looks like, because I'm sure staff did too, is that you can fill a personal pickup truck right up to the cab, and that's still well within 4 meters, so 4 cubic meters, so that's good for anybody who's doing their residential waste or any small contractor they hire to do their landscaping for them. So this is going to solve a lot of problems, and totally supportive of it. And there are definitely broader discussions to be had about the future of green waste and recycling and everything, and locations in Gibsons, and we need to do that too. But let's make this important step today.
Okay, thank you.
ASAP. I've got people waiting for my responses right now.
We're ready to vote. I see no more hands. I think I shall call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That passes. Thank you very much. It was an innovative solution. I was quite happy to see it. It did what we needed without costing us a bunch of money. So, thank you. Okay, so we got to go to the bylaw now. And that is just at the bottom of this thing. So I could do first, second, and third reading of Sunshine Coast Regional District Sanitary Landfill Site Amendment Bylaw number 405.26. Yes, I see a motion. I see it seconded. All those in favor? Okay. This is for adoption. I need a motion for adoption of the Sunshine Coast Regional District Sanitary Landfill Site Amendment Bylaw number 405.26. Can I see a motion to adopt? Yes. And I see a seconder. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? No, that passes. We're now on to, thank you very much. We're now on to our favorite subject, which is buses. No, director's reports. Okay. I think I'm leaning left today. Yeah, no, I was feeling kind of left today. Director Stamford, please.
Thank you, Chair. Last week, I had the sad, hard task of going to Salt Spring for 3 days for Islands Trust Council, which is a quarterly event for the islands. It just to bring it to the Sunshine Coast interests. It's often I find a lot of comparisons with the Sunshine Coast and Salt Spring. Salt Spring is about 12,000 residents. It's not a municipality, it's unincorporated, but it has a strong tourist economy, and a lessening farm and resource economy. It is obviously ferry dependent like we are. It has the same significant pressures, even more concentrated because it's an island. Housing. It just never stops there. And it's all around the ability to maintain a functioning community when healthcare and services support workers cannot live on the island. During Trust Council, we had a presentation from Transport Canada regarding derelict vessels and vessels of concern. So I have several graphics from that presentation that may be of interest to you and your community members about what to do when you find these vessels. We had a very pointed and honest discussion with MLA Adam Olson, who represents the Southern Gulf Islands for the Green Party. His focus was about the need to fully engage and negotiate with First Nations and other Indigenous peoples and maintaining those and developing those relations. His points have now come into more context, given that MLA Olson announced yesterday he will not be seeking re-election. Grantham's Landing, I continue to work with the community. It's an ongoing focus, and I really want to thank staff, especially Mr. Waldorf in Capital Projects, in continuing to reach out and really providing a bespoke support to try and find solutions to the many issues that SCRD is and is not necessarily a part of in that area. And I don't want to go into all the things I attended. There were several. But I finally want to note on a good news, that Brigade Bay, which is a subdivision on the east side of Gambier, has been designated as a Fire Smart recognized community. It's a combination of robust fire equipment preparedness, fire training workshops, and that 21 individual Fire Smart assessments were done last year, and that represents about half of the built lots in that subdivision were done. And this Fire Smart designation is the first of its kind, not only in the islands, but on the Sunshine Coast. Thank you.
Yes, just a sec here. You made me ask a question. The Fire Smart, was our staff involved in those, or where did the staff come from to do those inspections? And
Yeah, the fires, it's through the Regional Fire Smart program, and staff, yes, we're supportive of it.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Director Gabius?
Thank you, Chair. And I'm so impressed with all the work that Fire Smart is doing. I just want to say that. I keep being amazed. I'm going to start with my liaison work. So I went to the Seashell Library Board meeting. They are in the midst of moving back to their rightful location. So the pop-up is closed, and they will be opening their doors in mid-July. So back to hopefully normal for them. It's been a long road for them, and I really appreciate their resilience. They've been having some challenges with insurance, but they're working through it. And now they're yesterday. I don't know if Director Toth or Inkster could talk about what was discussed at the Committee of the Whole yesterday in regards to the improvements to the building, but the library is, working with the District of Seashelt and the architect to try to give their input on those improvements and renovations. Because of the flood and all the changes they've had to make, their revenue has suffered a little bit, but they're finding good ways to cover the loss of revenue without having to require more funding. And I will be with them with their float at Canada Day Parade on Monday, so that'll be fun. Please join hopefully the weather's good, because there's going to be books involved, so if it rains. And then I was so happy to attend the inaugural Accessibility Committee meeting earlier this week. Amazing group of people. I've already just in that first intro learned so much, and there's been already some good discussions as to where the issues are and things that as an able-bodied person I take so much for granted, and that was a great eye-opener. And just things like the pedestrian lights and how they're timed differently, and how that if you're visually impaired, that can really impact how you get around. There's no chair yet, but hopefully at the next meeting we'll be able to find someone to chair those meetings. There's so many great candidates in there. Hopefully someone feels the call. at an APC meeting, in which we had a really substantial discussion with, in regards to a variance request. That was really interesting. That was our first, I think, the first kind of really meaty discussion that we've had, and it was great. And on Friday the 19th, I believe, Be the Change Resource Center had their final event for their Be the Change campaign, and I was honored to be one of the speakers there. And there was someone from the SCRD also talking about the climate action plan that we adopted. And it was really wonderful to hear about so many amazing initiatives in the community that are happening, and I think we need to do more of that, highlight the great work that's happening, get some momentum, and I really feel that there's a shift going on, and a lot of people are ready to get to work, which is really amazing. And then yesterday, I was really grateful and lucky to attend the Atledge graduation ceremony, and they made some changes this year, and it was awesome to hear where the students were headed. That last year they didn't have that part, but it was as they were getting their diplomas, they were saying, I plan on traveling, or I plan on taking a break, or I plan on going to UVic. And it was really interesting to hear where the youth on the coast, where they're at and which careers they're contemplating. So I was really, and I got to present the bursary for Sunshine Coast electoral areas. So there you go. I've made someone happy. Thank you.
Boy, were you busy. Thank you very much. Director Bax, please.
Oh, sure. So I was under the impression that we all had to write them out, so I'm going to read mine off here. So I.
We already got it.
Yeah, we already read it. We're good.
Do I
Thank you,
have to?
Director
Do I
Bax.
have to read it out to you now?
No, we got it. Thank you.
Did
All
you
right,
want to?
well-
Did you want to give us some highlights?
I'll give you some highlights.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm the board representative to the joint childcare committee, and I am looking forward to advocating for them at UBCM in the fall. One of the biggest asks that they have is that the provincial government come up with a wage grid for the childcare sector, which is an important tool to allow private and public childcare centers to give a stability in the wages that they do pay out to these workers. And you guys. I was working with the Thriving Communities Council, and they are currently creating a community data hub that's going to be multi-jurisdictional data hub for lots of different things. When the Be the Change group did the last 6 months, they did a different data gathering event every month on a different subject. That data is going to be going into the data hub, and we're also going to get stuff from the Vancouver Coastal Health that's going to go into the data hub, and we're going to get things from the resource center and from the senior center and from there's transportation groups that are going to get involved, and so it's going to be a place where the NGOs and government bodies can go and access all kinds of different data that's been compiled, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that's going to all come together. It could be a really interesting way to get us out of the dark ages of silos that we are in at the moment. I'm meeting next week with a number of representatives on Roberts Creek Road to discuss a solution for the bike path and the sidewalk, or the walkway, the bike path and the walkway and the drainage in front of the Legacy Garden on Roberts Creek Road. As you may have seen in our last quarterly meeting with the representative for Moti, he basically gave me the go-ahead to try to herd the cats and to get the ducks in the row. And so I've already had a meeting with people representing the Legacy Garden, and on Tuesday I'll be meeting with the representatives of the school district, the community school, and the Legacy Garden, and I have a promise from the local representative for Moti that he may show up as well. Besides that, I've attended my OCPC meetings on the regular. I look forward to a summer break. And I'll bring you some more next month when just before the break, because we do have some events in August that are very interesting in Roberts Creek. That's it for now.
Thank you. You're a little early on the summer break. We got another month or so yet, but it's a good thought. Director White, please.
I did a lengthy rambling director's report last time, and I'd be really happy to, I appreciate that kind of a suggestion went out that we do written reports, and I'll take you up on that for sure. And I'll do one in the coming, and I'll only written. I'm not gonna read it out.
Just pass her out
Yeah,
and call her
yeah, I
good?
think that, and I think, I look forward tomorrow to having a good discussion on what we want, how we want our board meetings to look, and best use of each other's time, and I appreciate, if I'm the only one who wants to do written reports, that's cool.
We can talk about that tomorrow. Yeah. Director Inkster, please.
Thank you. I'll try to talk quicker than Director White on reports. Canada Day's coming up, Sweeia, Canada Day. Go to Hackett Park after the parade. Hopefully many of you are at the parade and at Hackett Park. Rod Run's coming soon after. I'll talk about that some more. And the Writers' Fest is coming to Sechelt, so you're all welcome to come to Sechelt. Thanks.
Wow, that was fast. Director McMahon, please.
Okay, June the 17th, I attended the Hospital Foundation AGM at Seaside Center. I believe I was the only politician there, although the SCRD was also represented by Tina. They are super organized and professional, and I believe they punch way above their weight for a community our size. We're really fortunate to have the foundation and also the auxiliary. They're exceptional. On June the 18th, we had the Elphinstone Community Association meeting with the guest speaker was Diana Mumford from the Ferry Advisory Committee. Always a popular topic with lots of questions being asked. I attended the climate talks at Gibson's Public Market and the Farmers Institute get-together that happened the same evening. I didn't make it to all the other events that also happened that same evening. We all, I think, attended the BC Ferries Commissioners meeting at Botanical Gardens on the 25th, and that was really very interesting. I realized that perhaps some of the issues haven't moved forward as much as we would like, but it was interesting to get a better insight into how they operate and the considerations that they have. I wanted to remind my other electoral area directors that there is a Zoom meeting on Tuesday, July the 9th at 9 a.m. with our UBCM electoral area representative, Geraldine Kirk. So please give some consideration to issues that you may have. And if for some reason you didn't receive her email, check in with me. I have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Director Toth.
Thank you, Chair. Director Inkster stole my thunder on the Canada Day Parade, so I'll skip that. With regards to the comments about building improvements at the library/municipal hall, our committee of the whole meeting yesterday was devoted entirely to that subject, and I'm not going to reiterate it in any great detail because it's there on YouTube for everybody to watch. But we did highlight that long-term consultation is our priority. And if it means that, part of the building continues to degrade in the meantime, then maybe that's what happens. One of the proposals that was on the table was an $18 million expansion of the facility. And we don't know how we would fund that, what the operational costs would look like, what impact that would have on, the SCRD and the Seashell Nation as other funders of the library. So it's early days on that conversation. And then that BC Ferries meeting from the other day, I expressed it to the chair of their board, but they easily could have pulled the report from 2019 to inform the discussion of that day, because there was nothing that I saw that we didn't talk about back in 2019 when a similar exercise was held at Blue Ocean. And I'll just leave it there.
Thank you. I got lots of time because I got Director White's time too now. Oops. Darn. For you guys that didn't go to the Tasty Tuesday Throwdown, it was all about rhubarbs. And actually, I believe the food bank made a lot of money off of it. That's actually what it was for, is to raise money for the food bank. I thought it was a great event, and it was a great chance to chat with the staff and do something worthwhile. Well, I had some stuff I'd never eaten before. It's amazing how much they can make out of rhubarb. The June 25th ferry meeting that people were talking about, I just wanted to point out just how very well attended it was. Probably too much, because we kind of got in each other's way. There was so many people and the group was so large. But, I got to give them credit for trying. It's good. We can do a little better, but it was nice to see them take the time. And I'd like to close just with the fact that I had an APC meeting, and I'd like to share that the biggest item discussed, well, there was two of them, actually. The first was lack of workload. They wanted more to do, and they wanted me to tell them what more they could do to help advise me. So I think I'm going to have to follow up on that, and I'd be very interested in whatever help my fellow directors can give me on that, as what their APCs think. I got some suggestions. And then we spent a lot of time on the proposed bylaw 337. And I got to tell you, we spent 2 hours talking about it, and we were halfway through. So just so that we get some taste of the public information meeting that's coming, I think it's very important that we have it, and I think we did good arranging it that way. So thank you to everybody. And that's my report. So we're going to move in camera, and I'd like a motion that the public, well, I can make the motion that the public be excluded from attendance at the meeting in accordance with section 91A, C, I, and K of the community charter. I see a motion. Do I see a seconder?
Well, you made it, so I'm
Oh,
second.
I did it. I made it. Gee, it was really, I thought he was giving me a, yeah. Okay, let's vote on it. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, we're going to go in camera. Now, is there anybody in, one attendee?
Any questions? Oh. Oh. And your hand is up.
Why doesn't mine go over there? Okay. Oh, Miss Jordison. Can we promote her into, oh, she's here. Okay. Connie.
Thank you, Chair Lee. I would like to ask, through the chair, if the information session on July 4th will be both in person and online, or will it just be in person?
Yes, we did talk about that today, and it's going to be both.
No, in person only for the
Oh,
information session.
oh, the information session. Oh, okay,
Yes.
yes, that's in person. It's coffee house style, where we'll have multiple staff and various stations being able. Perhaps I should let GM Hall answer that, so we get it right. GM Hall?
Thank you, Chair. You had it right. 6:30 start at 1975 Field Road. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Connie. Okay, cool. So we'll go in camera now. Welcome back to the June 27th board meeting. I'd like a motion to adjourn, please. I see a motion made. I see it seconded. All those in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you.